The stocks we chose to look over are Penn National Gaming and MGM Resorts International. Who are our owners? Our owners are primarily made up of large institutions and mutual funds. For MGM, 93.84% of shares are held by institutions. And for Penn International, 94.53% are held by institutions. Mainly these institutions concern Price T. Rowe, Vanguard, BlackRock, Goldman, Fidelity. Institutional ownership is usually beneficial to the stock price. However, sometimes it can have disadvantages as well. Why do investors care about cost of capital? The main reason is to maximize their potential return. The overall goal of cost of capital is to improve the rate of return by managing debt, equity, and opportunity cost. An advantage of leveraging debt allows you to see favorable tax breaks when using cost of capital, and a disadvantage includes a loss of flexibility and an increased chance of default, because by taking on more debt, you leave yourself at more risk. The cost of debt for MGM and Penn. MGM's current debt ratio is 52.3%, and the optimal ratio being at 40%. So they're a bit over leveraged. Penn, on the other hand, has a current debt ratio of 28.66 with an optimal ratio being 30%, right around the sweet spot.
Following Nico's remarks of cost of debt, we get into the cost of equity of financing. So what is the cost of equity of financing? Cost of equity of financing was taken by using the CAP-M approach, which we took the risk-free rate, which is 1.67%, which was taken on February 7th, 2020. And we add that by the beta, which for Penn, which was 1.79 times the market risk premium. We took a more conservative approach by taking an 8%, although historically the market risk premium has been about between 8% to anywhere up to upwards of 10%. For Penn, using the CAP-M approach, we got 15.93%, and for MGM, we took the same approach, and our final sum was 13.45%. Not much variation of difference between the two, although Penn's cost of equity is at a higher percentage in comparison to MGM, but just a slight variation due to the company's industry and size. Then we get into the overall cost of capital. Our overall cost of capital was taken by using the WACC, which is the weighted average cost of capital. We took this approach and we got to the sum for Penn National Gaming at 12.75%. Along with MGM, we got a 10.46% WACC. Following in that slide, we get into capital expenditures. Could capital structures lower the cost of capital? Due to the structures of the company, you can see that the capital structure spending for MGM was higher due to their exposure internationally, as opposed to Penn, which has lower capital spending at about 174 because they are based nationally and have no exposure to overseas markets.
Would more debt create unnecessary risk? MGM has a current debt ratio much higher than the optimal rate, so increasing the debt would create more risk. It could also potentially decrease the equity as well, even affecting the bond rating, lowering the bond value based on the debt revolving. Penn, on the other hand, has room to increase the debt slightly because they're operating just under their optimal debt ratio. So if they were to increase their debt ratio by about 2%, they would be operating at full potential. How would a financial restructuring affect the value of a company? For MGM to decrease their debt from 52.3% down to the optimal rate of 40%, it will increase the company's value from $33,885 to $37,474 in millions. And Penn would increase the debt rate from 28.66 up to 30%, which would increase its value from $27,684 up to $29,451 in millions. What does the competition do? The number one competition for both of these companies is the Las Vegas Sands Corporation. The Las Vegas Sands Corporation has a similar revenue and expenses as MGM and Penn. However, the EBITDA increased a lot because of their large presence in Asian gaming, specifically in the capital of Macau. Macau reports an annual revenue 6 times that of Las Vegas. Is our stock fairly priced? As of February 7th, 2020, MGM's current value was $37.10. Based on our analysis, we calculated the intrinsic value to be $38.49. For Penn, the current price was $32.10, and our intrinsic value analysis gave us a number of $33.87. So both companies were slightly underpriced. Thank you.